This week, we're discussing how expensive everything is and highlighting the real game delayer not named GTA. This is the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is a man who is days away from celebrating another trip around the sun. It's my co-host, Mike. Mike, how are we doing?
Not witty enough this morning. Have no weird way to come back. I'm doing all right. Doing all right for my last week as a... I don't want to phrase this. Last week before I have to think about being 30 for the next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I workshopped a ton of different, how do I want to describe that? Yeah, it's your birthday. And I was like, damn. Like I had 30 in my brain, and then I was like, nope, we're all only 28 now. Gonna be turning 29. Yeah. Not quite to 30. So at one point I had typed up, which is really funny because I deleted it because I thought it was going, potentially too dark. I said I had written out, with me as a man who's one step closer to 30 and by that standard, one step closer to the grave. But then I was just like, no, I don't think I need to start out the episode like that. So anyway, I'm just going to say it now.
I think I was expecting something like that, and that's why I didn't have some sort of like witty response.
You expected me to kind of to turn into the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a "That's How Time Works" thing?
Oh, of course.
Just because I'm thinking about what age I was when we started this podcast.
Oh God.
Which was 23, I think.
We started in 2020. We're coming up on we probably had just turned 24 when we started it. Because I think we probably, our first episode is like,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Like 2 weeks from now, maybe. I should probably know that so we can get out the kazoos or whatever.
I can just do a desk pop. I don't have a kazoo. I'm sure Discord will love that.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. My "That's How Time Works" isn't going to work.
Oh.
Mostly because I don't understand time.
Were you going to say that the start of the podcast is closer to 9/11 than we are now?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Which, I mean, that one works, but... No, I was going to say something along the lines of... There's been as much time from when we started the podcast to now to when we started the podcast and ended high school.
Very close.
Very close. Still scary enough to make you think.
Yeah. It's scary because it could be true. Yeah. Pretty darn close. The only thing that messes with that is that you finished high school a year before me.
Yeah, so I mean, it works for me, but
because you're so smart.
That's just because I'm smarter than you. Graduated a year earlier.
Oh man, that always fucks with me.
Yeah,
I think that's why I like for a split second was like, yeah, Mike's turning 30, and then it was just like, nope, we're literally the same age.
Yep. Yeah,
because that's how time works. Time works. I have, before I ask you what games you played, I have 2 really fun updates for you.
Okay, take your time on these because I don't think you're going to be disappointed in my update.
Well, I don't want to take too long because it coincides with one of my updates. But first, I have a response from you shouting out Sparky last week. And this is directly from my father. Okay. Which, you might have also, I guess, gotten.
You may have said it to me in person.
Yeah, yeah. He said that in response to the podcast, I usually only interact to notices I get on X. Hate that he called it X, by the way. However, The other night, I wanted to follow Ricky Bo, don't know who that is, for a bit, and decided to clean up the list of people and companies I was following. I scrolled on Mike and accidentally unliked something I had previously liked. So I liked it again. I guess it sent him a notification. I need to get rid of of most of my socials, mostly a waste of time. Truer words have never been spoken.
I need to say, I appreciate him going back and re-liking it.
Yeah.
As if I would have ever noticed.
Yeah, right. True.
If you wouldn't have done that, if you wouldn't have done that, I would have gone through everything that's ever been liked that I've posted and say, something doesn't add up.
Numbers on this post seem down.
My engagement.
I'm being shadow banned.
I just find it funny. So he told me that this weekend, and I was like, I find it funny that I'm almost never on Twitter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to go on that morning before the podcast just to see if there was any other like news stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happened to be 9 hours after that historic event. So
pretty good stuff.
I had something I wanted to say about Sparky that I don't know would have made things better or worse, but now I forgot. So we'll just have to. Oh, I do remember. He did give us some helpful feedback and said that he would like if we stopped saying the F word as much because sometimes the podcast takes longer than his commute to work, and so he listens to it on his computer just with speakers, which I said that's hardly my fault, but
yeah. Is he trying to censor us?
It sure seems like it.
And there you go. Sparky's against free speech.
First he called it X, and now he doesn't want us to say the F word. He's following whoever. What was the person's name? Bo-Katan or something like that.
Bo-Katan, yeah.
Yep. Known anti-helmeter in the Mandalorians.
You know, sometimes I think we just, and by we, it's probably me, you know, just kind of go on a rant every now and then. And
we get fired up.
Yeah, you know, the F words, they fly.
Yeah. Yep. They're like barrels of tea into the haba.
They are like
mad enough, and you just chuck them.
They are like barrels of tea into the haba. True, I couldn't have said it better myself. The other update I have for you. This is so funny. Okay, so dear listeners, as you know, we have a YouTube channel where I, at the end of every episode, tell people to go over there and drop a comment letting us know some call to action. But admittedly, I'm a very lazy person, so I've very rarely am check, and also we don't get comments that often, so very rarely am I actually like looking through them. But last week when I was uploading our episode, I happened to notice that we had a comment, and the comment is 3 months old. So it tells you how on top of things I am.
Timely.
And this is so funny. This is the comment. I'm new to your show, and I don't want to sound like a dick, but it's 5 minutes in, and there's still no news. I wish the best for you two, but it's 2025, and I think people can't listen to a 60-minute podcast with probably only 13 minutes of relevant content in. And also, it's not worth taking the risk to find out if that calculation is correct. Good luck, lads. Brother, you are new to the show. If you think that hasn't been our shtick this entire time, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we're just two dudes talking.
I think my favorite part is of this comment, to really dissect it before getting into the news, is it's 2025, and I think people can't listen to a 60-minute podcast. He put this on a episode that was 54 minutes and 43 seconds. Just, you know, not to be pedantic, but and probably only 13 minutes of relevant content. Yeah, it's 2025, and people can't stand to listen to two friends be friends and have a good time, I guess. Sue me.
So here's the funny thing, in that I think we're ahead of our time with our format, because I don't know if you're familiar with the current state of short form video, but it's basically dead. And so if you watch like an Instagram reel, they used to be, I don't know, no more than 15, 20 seconds. Well, now they're like a minute and a half, and it's a bunch of bullshit
Mm-hmm.
until you get to the end, and then it's like 5 seconds on what you actually like started watching the video for. So I think we're pioneers, to be frank.
I'd prefer if you just were Mike, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
All that being said, this was probably the nicest negative feedback I've ever heard on the internet in my life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It wasn't really disrespectful. It was just really funny because the way they were like coming at it, like they've literally prefaced it with like, "I'm new to your show," and it's like truer words have never been spoken because you very clearly
Mhm.
did not understand the mission that
Yep.
we're on. Where we do spend probably um, anywhere from a third to 90% of the episode just shooting the shit. Oh man, really
And I
funny.
can tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to put chapters in the YouTube video so you can jump right to the news.
Here's the thing. Here's
In
the
for a
thing.
penny, in for a
No,
pound.
but that's the other thing that kind of bothered me a little bit because yes, I don't put chapters in, and I very easily could. But our fucking sorry, Dad. Our visual literally says in the TV screen. So if you're watching on YouTube, there's almost no excuse to not be able to immediately find where like the content you're looking for is, because all you have to do is skip ahead a little bit until the picture on the TV screen changes from intro and pleasantries, which again takes up anywhere from 25 to 90% of the video, to the part that changes to topic.
Yeah, well.
So I almost do have chapters. I just, again, am lazy and don't do the actual YouTube feature. Anyway, I also just realized a very funny thing I did on season 5, episode 46, which is how many weeks ago at this point? 4 weeks ago? Yeah, episode 253. Today, you and I are recording episode 257. This was when we were talking about Battlefield 6 potentially being $80.
Mhm.
And in the description, I put in all caps, this episode was recorded before EA announced Battlefield 6 will not be $80. Then I put in ellipses and then put the normal description of Mike and Spencer discuss Battlefield 6 potentially being $80. And I think that is so funny. I'm so proud of that.
I'm shocked we didn't get any comments on that video saying that EA said it was going to be $70.
Yeah, it helps that I guess I didn't specifically call out Battlefield in the title, or else we probably would have.
What were we talking about in the other video?
It was
comment.
it was the that was the where is it? I think it was the week where we were discussing Xbox increasing their prices.
Well, then we better expect to get some good engagement on this episode.
Hey, that's a really good segue.
Yeah.
What
I
have
just
you,
want to keep things short.
what have you been playing this week?
And in the spirit of keeping things short, I didn't play anything.
Nothing, truly.
Truly nothing.
Damn. I'm really sorry.
One of those weeks.
I don't really have a robust update on my end, but I can report back that I have played more Mario plus Rabbids, so doing good on my
Good stuff.
homework. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into it. We've got more price increases, and I think
I can see the viewers increasing already.
where the power levels they keep rising, much like video game prices. I was
Whoa.
thinking back on it because, um, and maybe this is just like a total miss on my part, or one of those things where I just didn't care to pay attention closely because it was Xbox when we previously talked about, and now this is PlayStation. I'm much more in the PlayStation ecosystem. None of these price increases affect me, obviously, because I think I'm set on my hardware for this cycle, but obviously there can be ripple effects down the line with how they go about pricing and stuff like that. But I can't remember. I didn't think the Xbox price increases raised the prices above the original release prices, or am I crazy?
No, they did.
Okay.
I know the Series S definitely did. By I think it was $299 and now it's $349.
Crazy. Crazy. I Well, yeah, I mean, just to get into it, PlayStation basically has done the same thing where just about anything has gone up by about like $50. Any consoles. So, if you want a PS5 Pro, it's now $750 instead of $700, which was already, a big old punch to the wallet. Um, Not great. Not great that that we have a console cycle that has done the first thing or it's a historic moment where it's the first console cycle to actually go up in price
Yeah.
as the years have gone on. Um just absurd.
Have
Just
we had any sales like around the holidays or anything over the past 5 years?
definitely
Maybe.
again I can't speak for Xbox, but I do know Xbox had basically lowered the Series S to like basically a staple 250 or whatever, right? Like, and that was just kind of the new price point they were running with. Um, Unless I'm misremembering that, but I do know PlayStation had like probably like $50 off or like a bundle or stuff like that, but nothing like again, no concrete movement, which is something that has always happened with consoles in the past. Or it's like the PS3 is now just like from here on out, it's $299, and we haven't really had anything like that.
Yeah. Not as many bundles either.
No, you're pretty much locked to. I think there was like a Spider-Man bundle. Again, I'm only speaking for PlayStation here, but there was like a Spider-Man bundle, and then like I think there's been like 3 different Call of Duty bundles.
For PlayStation?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Xbox has done any, but I also think maybe that doesn't make sense because they usually give you like 3 months of Game Pass.
right.
So
Yeah, not not great. And I don't know. Like I don't know if we just talked about the potential next generation of PlayStation specifically, and how like there seems to internally be a commitment to trying to make sure that the console is affordable. So, do I necessarily see this having ripple effects towards that? Like, is the next console generation going to now all of a sudden be $700? My assumption is no. Obviously, we don't know, but it doesn't mean that this also won't mean that they were going to target, let's say $400, and now the console's going to release at 450. Um, Obviously, all up in the air.
hmm.
This is also just very new because I feel like we've seen price increases from PlayStation in the past. This is the first time they've ever done it that I can remember, specifically in like the U.S. market.
Yeah, because they a couple of years ago, like it's been a couple of years since they started increasing prices, right?
Yeah, they
Didn't they
increased.
do?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, they did like some AAPI region, right? Wasn't that one of the first ones to get price increases?
Yep, believe that. I believe that's correct.
And
I mean,
then
I definitely
like
remember us talking
Eastern
about.
Europe.
I definitely remember us talking about like prices in Japan, and both of us being like, "That's wild,"
Yeah.
like that's crazy that you're increasing prices there. Um, but yeah,
Hmm.
crazy, crazy, crazy
Yeah, we'll see.
timeline.
I guess they probably just imagine that they have as pretty much as many sales this generation as they're going to have. And anything moving forward is just kind of cherry on top.
I think that's kind of what's so surprising to me, right? Like, so they're pointing to a challenging economic environment, and I think a lot of people are drawing the natural conclusion that like it's because of the tariff situation.
Hmm.
To me, though, like we're so late into the cycle. I mean, I don't know anything about anything, so I can't try and talk like an
That's why we
expert on
spend
any of
40
this
minutes
stuff.
of the podcast talking about
So
nothing
it's
and 10
hard.
minutes talking about news.
I,
The gig
it
is up.
it just seems to me that like again a price increase, like just keep prices the same. Like you said, like you've definitely made the vast majority of the sales you're going to make at this point. Anything you make from here on out is kind of just gravy in the end anyway. I don't know. It just kind of seems like a wild conclusion to come to. And
I'd be
as it,
interested to see.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please.
Nope. Nope. No,
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 no.
no, 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 please. We can do this for 40 minutes too.
Yeah. That's a quick way to get 15 minutes of news instead of 13. Um, I would be interested to see what their inventory levels are like because you feel like, okay, we know that there's going to be a new PlayStation,
Right.
maybe announced next year, maybe released in 2027.
Hmm.
Uh, usually we're getting to the point in the cycle where they're like, okay, we're in inventory control. So I kind of wonder if one of the things that's different this generation compared to previous generations is that like inventory started so low and then it kind of caught up. But like I'm sure it's not as much of a surplus as it has been in the past.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. That is definitely fair. I was just gonna say, as it pertains to the whole tariff situation, a lot of people um, are saying that you can't really blame the tariffs. Um, but I kind of feel like it's very clearly the issue. Like even if it's like even if you can say that like, oh well, the tariffs aren't actually impacting them, that's still basically the excuse that they're using. So like it doesn't matter. And I think we talked about this back during the Xbox One, when we were talking about the price increases there, or we were talking about price increases with something, and it was because of the uncertainty around the tariffs and everything that was going to be happening there. And I think we both basically were like, the best part about all of this is that no matter what and no matter the impact of like them, if they're increasing prices and saying it's basically because of the tariffs, even if the tariffs go away, you won't see the prices come back down.
No.
With like I can say that with like 99% certainty.
Yeah.
Like they've been given an opportunity to increase prices. People are going to pony up for those prices, most likely, and nothing will have been learned or everything will have been learned, and they will just leave the prices the same regardless of how other things change. And that's life.
Did you happen to see the people who are claiming it's not the tariffs, what they propose it might be.
Trump derangement syndrome.
Okay, I figured. No, I mean it 100% is. You know,
Trump derangement syndrome.
won't comment on that. Forgot what I was gonna. It's either, you know, people are either saying the company just wants to raise prices for the sake of raising prices, and they're blaming the tariffs, even though it's not the reason for the tariffs, or, you know, it's because these tariffs are so volatile,
Mm-hmm.
and they're expected to get more volatile in the remaining 4 months of the year. And they certainly are being tariffed. And the point of the tariff was to impose this tax on things that aren't and could be produced in the United States. Now, I don't personally think that PlayStation 5s could be produced in the United States. Certainly not this year.
Well,
Maybe in 10
yeah.
to 15, maybe 20 years.
I was gonna say anything can be
But
produced anywhere.
But neither can fucking bananas from the Dominican Republic. So, and those are being tariffed. So,
mm-hmm. I think it was Nintendo when the Nintendo stuff, when they were like announcing like prices and stuff. Oh yeah, because it was during the Switch too, and somebody was like, "Well, I'm not gonna buy a Switch because now Nintendo's being political," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, they're raising the prices on us because they hate Trump. No, they're raising the prices on us because they feel like the tariffs are causing a situation, or it's giving them an opportunity to raise the prices on us.
They have an expected profit margin. That's all it is. It's this simple, and they are not going to deviate from that profit margin.
They're going to drive shareholder value until they can drive no more.
Yeah. No, I mean it really is as simple as that. And then to do that, you pass it on to the consumer, because the consumer has no voice.
Mm-hmm.
The consumer does have a voice. You could not buy shit, but
I mean, and we talk about that all the time, right? Like there is a true. The problem is that we are all but one person. You know, like we can only do things via our own free will. We can't possibly impact, you know, the masses. So, you know, I've been voting with my wallet year in and year out by not buying Call of Duty. And every year I'm disappointed when a new one comes out, you know? I can't believe I let it happen again. But yeah, no, you're right. Like it literally is that simple. If everybody who voiced their disdain, you know, then actually put their money where their mouth is, which is to say far away from the product and not buy it, like maybe we would see change with certain things. But the problem is that I don't think enough people actually, you know, walk the talk. You know, they end up caving to the social pressures of playing the new hyped thing or having the thing or whatever. And you know, if you're that weak, well, what can I say?
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting just trying to hear people argue that it's not the tariffs, and especially when companies have, or the importers, I should say, that's the correct word to use, have basically said it's going to be 100% pass through to consumers.
Yeah.
Because like Nintendo could say, okay, we're going to eat 20% of the tariff. Like it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Sure.
No company is doing that.
Yeah.
And you know, Sony, Nintendo, like they're not going to be the ones to say, oh, we'll be the good guys here. We're only going to do an 80% pass through.
Have you learned nothing over the past 40 years of these companies?
Yeah.
Yeah, just wild. It really is just crazy to think though that like we actually have seen a console generation. It was already bad skating where, to your point, like there was no just like legitimate price decrease or really any deals or anything like that outside of, you know, maybe around the holidays you could save $50 to maybe $100 or something like that. But But yeah, to see it just actively go in the opposite direction is wild. So this November, look forward to getting a PS5 discounted to the price it released at.
Yep.
um,
I wonder. I wonder if this is going to affect their used consoles or their refurbished consoles. Like that's what I bought.
yeah, yeah. My guess
I
is
wonder if those
no.
prices are going to go up. I would assume not too, which makes those, you know,
More appealing.
even more enticing. And
Mm-hmm.
I can say like had I could never tell that mine was ever used.
Sure.
Like I genuinely think they like probably took the board out of the old one, put it in a new casing, gave me a new controller, and sent me on my way.
Yeah.
So if you want a PS5 at least, I would advocate for that option.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would think there are definitely a lot of different avenues. So obviously, PlayStation does just have their own program that you can directly buy through, and I think
Hmm.
from my own like consumer standpoint, those types of things are always to me the most trustworthy.
Yeah.
But there are also plenty of other like companies and stuff like that that do refurbished and have guarantees and all that stuff. I think people just need to be more willing to seek out those options and take advantage of them.
Yeah.
Uh, while we're on the topic of prices, this is something that we've already kind of talked about, so not necessarily that we need to talk about it a ton, but it does seem like we can all but say, even though I don't think they have officially been confirmed, the Xbox handhelds are going to be uh, most likely 550 USD for the Ally and $900 for the Ally X, courtesy of Bill Coon, who is like kind of my favorite like insider leaks account to follow because they are typically spot on. I'm trying to remember. They're um, if you've ever read an article on Deal Labs about any sort of leaks or anything like that, Bill Coon is most likely the person behind it. So yeah, very interesting. I think this is pretty much in line with what we were expecting when we last talked about it. Like this is kind of what was already in the rumblings. So this is just kind of like a
You know what?
more concrete. But go ahead.
At one point they were saying 700 for the Ally and 1050 for the Ally X, but I think that was based off of Euro price maybe.
Oh,
And people were
maybe
throwing a fit about it
because
not translating.
it was probably if I'm thinking about this right, was it like 899 euros? And then when you threw it in the conversion, it came out to 1050 USD or something like that,
Something like
probably.
that, yeah.
Yeah, and I think and I think you and I probably said what we normally say with those types of things, where it's like, no, numbers stay numbers, and don't do that. Like they if they can hit 799 in every region, it's just going to be that in whatever the currency is, and so you may either pay more or less depending um, on the strength of your currency. Sorry, Australia. Australia always, I think, gets absolutely burned by that like pricing logic.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, it's crazy. $550 for the handheld, and then 900 for the Ally X. Um, just seems and feels so expensive, but I don't know. I really do think that it's a really cool device, and I think maybe, kind of to what we were talking about with the upcoming PlayStation generation, might just be kind of bad timing, that is kind of forcing this, like, what just seems and feels so expensive. Um, because in just like a couple of years, the tech may be better, cheaper, whatever to achieve similar results, and it allows you to sell it for cheaper. Um, but yeah, I mean the $900 handheld is obviously very beefy. You're going to be getting the best and a great gaming experience out of it. I'm just very curious, like how well is this truly going to sell? Like,
Mhm.
do we think people are going to come out in mass for it to finally have an Xbox handheld?
I could see a lot of people getting the Ally.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Ally X. I mean, I think it's gonna. I think you're gonna have to be in this very particular situation where you're really interested in an Xbox handheld and you also like want a PC.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming these are going to be like other handheld, like the Lenovo Legion, where you
Yep.
can like plug it into a monitor, plug a mouse, keyboard into it, whatever. Basically, use it as a PC. Um, I think that's the kind of situation you need to be in. And I'm looking through. So you sent me this Reddit post
Hmm.
that has the link um, to the rumored prices, and pretty much everyone is saying it's absurd. Um, there's one person here that basically says, "Welcome to the world of the personal computer," which
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much spot on. I mean, you're not buying a gaming console; you're buying a PC. I mean, you should, if you're buying this, like you should pretty much be in the market for a laptop and expect to be using this as a laptop, which I know sounds silly because it is, but I think that's kind of like the market.
Hmm.
Frankly, I think about it like I haven't gotten a new PC since 2018,
Hmm.
and it's the one I'm using to record this podcast. And I think a computer should last more than 7 years. And frankly, I'm probably the only reason this thing is still running. But like, it's not technically supposed to have Windows 11, and it's a Microsoft Surface. Like, it
Hmm.
is a Microsoft built computer, and it doesn't support Microsoft's own software. So there are times when I think about, oh, I should probably get a new laptop at some point here, or a computer, PC probably. But I really, like, other than doing this podcast, like, I really have no reason to have one.
Hmm.
So like for me, getting something like the Legion where I can, one, play games on it, which is what it would mostly get used for if I had it,
Hmm.
and then two, like, to be able to plug it into my dock and do the podcast on it. I kind of make it dual purpose. I think that's pretty useful. So I think, as we kind of, I think we're going to see people who want desktop gaming PCs start to kind of edge towards these rather than building desktops, which I
Yeah.
know that's going to ignite one person who listens to this podcast.
I think I I think the market for that one is, yeah, pretty much like kind of what you're saying. I see it as somebody who maybe has a gaming PC that's just like kind of stuck in the past, so can't really play like a ton of stuff. They also have an Xbox. They've always been in the Xbox ecosystem, so like maybe they have a Series X or Series S already. And
Mhm.
yeah, this is just kind of the perfect marriage of like being able to have Xbox on the go, and they just never got a Steam Deck or whatever, and also can act as like an upgrade to their current PC like landscape. I definitely could see a solid group that falls into that camp. But um I think like this there you said about the Reddit thread, somebody kind of brought up a good point that Microsoft might have done themselves a disservice by giving it the Xbox brand, because it does do more than just Xbox. I think that's been covered fairly well. Like, you are going to be able to play basically your entire PC library, no matter where those games are from, on this thing, and that's obviously very valuable. So,
Let's play Doom.
does it play Doom?
Hmm.
Does it play Doom? Why would you ask me that?
I feel like that's a common benchmark for these things. Sorry, I didn't realize it's a stupid question.
I can imagine. I would imagine it can play Doom. Which Doom? All of them?
The original.
Oof. It can play a port of the original, but it's not original Doom.
Mm, not interested.
um, I don't know. I'm eager to see what the what the base is like for this. I think people are going to be. I think people are probably more pessimistic on it than what's going to happen, but we'll see. It's a lot of money, no matter what, no matter how you try to spin it. $500 is a lot of cash, but um, we say that about so many things, and
Hmm.
and there's always people coming out for it. So um,
I I wonder, and I find myself in this camp too, so I think I'm allowed to say this. Like, gaming has always been comparatively cheap.
hmm
It's not been cheap enough that everyone can do it, but like, that's not what I'm saying. But like,
hmm
you think back to the Wii. Everyone had a Wii. People
hmm
who you didn't know played video games had a Wii.
hmm
That's because they were what, $300 max,
hmm
and they went on sale frequently. Like everyone had a Wii, and now it's really become, and we've talked about this probably over a dozen episodes the past 5 years, but it's really become like a luxury hobby, unfortunately. And I think this just kind of perpetuates it.
It's become a luxury hobby, but not because of necessarily just its prices increasing, but literally just the fact that like everything has gotten more expensive, right? So
Yeah.
like not to not to try and play that whole game, but I think I used the comparison of like needing to kind of like budget because you can't just go to McDonald's and get an entire meal for under $3. It's now $15 or something like that, and
Right.
and so now you have to make the decision of like, whereas in the past you could have spent $300 instead of $500 for a console, and
That's because
then
McDonald's is trying to be more premium.
yeah,
Like, we're not going to grill your shit till you get here. That's how fresh we are.
so I think that like obviously plays into it, and then it just makes the increases as they do happen, it makes them hurt even more. So that's why
Hmm.
the whole like price of games going up and everything like that again, like you said, we've talked about now probably a dozen if not more times. It makes it hard, it makes it hurt more because it feels like our the purse strings are already pulled as tight as they can be.
Right.
um,
What I'm saying though is like you look through people discussing prices of things on Reddit or Twitter or whatever, and it's like people expect gaming to be exempt from that, from
right.
what you're saying.
No, 100%.
And it's not, and frankly it's one of the worst culprits of these price increases.
it
um
it's probably because they were so insulated for the longest time from doing
yeah.
price increases, right? Like the price of games stayed $60. Like that's the easiest one to point to. And like consoles
Mhm.
outside of the PS3 being egregious to start, like have always just fallen into like these like very specific buckets. And they finally are just like kind of increasing at like such a fast rate, and yeah, people just are unwilling to accept that um gaming is also impacted by time and the world and economies and, and everything like
Yeah.
that.
And unfortunately it's all just kind of coming down at once.
Yeah, yeah, truly.
So,
But yeah, any final thoughts from you on the Microsoft handheld, the Xbox handheld?
I think the people that want it are going to buy it. I don't expect to see like as many people stretching for this as like maybe they did for the Switch 2.
Oh, sure. I could see that. I could agree with that.
I don't intend on getting one for whatever that's worth.
Right. But I guess a question to ponder: if this had released up front with the rest of the console line, which I know is kind of like an impossible question because like could that have even been a reality? But let's say for the point of this question's sake, it could have been. Do you think that there's a world where you would have considered getting this handheld instead of getting the Series X?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
I think potentially moving forward. And again, this is just so weird because it's coming out now, and then in 2 years we're gonna get a new console generation probably.
Yeah, it's bad timing.
Like, it's not like they're gonna make. I imagine they're not going to make a new one to coincide with the new console launch. If if they did, if Xbox had a handheld console at launch, or maybe even I don't be at the point in my life where I feel the need to get an Xbox at launch. Um,
Right.
I would move forward with Xbox handhelds in the future. Like, I really don't need an Xbox and a PlayStation console, and I think I'd rather have a PlayStation console and an Xbox handheld.
Sure.
I don't know. I think I potentially would have if, and that's also if I had a choice in what I could buy.
Right, which
Like, really, the only reason I got the Series X is because I couldn't get a PS5.
right.
So,
What a time that was.
yeah.
All right. Last bit of news for this week. I think just about most of, if not all of last year, and then a majority of this year until we got a final actual release date for GTA. We had a feeling that a lot of games were maybe holding out on giving release dates, and if GTA was announced for September, October, November this year, any games that were originally in that line of release date site would potentially oh no, suddenly we have to delay. And then GTA announced that it wasn't going to be releasing until May of next year. And so we haven't really gotten to watch a ton of that happen. What we have gotten to see, though, is Hollow Knight Silksong has done exactly that, which has been really funny. Games Radar has reported that Hollow Knight Silksong has now delayed at least 8 indie games in the 5 days since its September release date was announced. With, I guess, one developer being quoted as saying, "I feel like a little krill trying not to get eaten by a blue whale." I do think it's really funny and like, kind of just like, I don't know if on the nose is the right way of framing it, but I guess I love that it's like indie games that are like, I think kind of like showing respect almost for Hollow Knight and like just how massive it's been and how it's been like the summoning circle for a lot of people, ahead of
Yeah.
any sort of like big gaming event. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like funny that they're like, hands up, they know that this is a very popular game and that, I'm sure a lot of people that they're probably trying to appeal to, their just natural expectation is they're going to be way too busy with the hype around Silksong. Um, yeah, just just funny to actually like see this happen. I feel like we joke about games trying to dive out of the way of other games releases, and I don't know how often it truly happens. Obviously there are like some clear cut examples, but this one is like substantial.
Mhm. Well, I think it also sheds some light on why GTA got pushed back as
Oh,
well.
there you
I
go.
mean, I mean, Silk Song was full steam ahead on their release date. They didn't back down. And Rockstar said, yeah, maybe we should let this settle a little before we release GTA 6.
Pretty smart. Pretty smart.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, they would have gotten eaten alive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to talk about blue whale krill?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, GTA meets Silksong.
Yeah.
Do you think Silksong actually moved their release date?
No, I'm saying Silk Song would eat GTA.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm pondering, do you think Silksong potentially moved things up, or like I mean, honestly, everything about the Silksong development has been really funny. I don't know if you saw like the quote where it was basically like, you might be wondering why you haven't heard any updates for 7 years. And then it's just like, we didn't really know what to say, so we just said nothing. It's like, what? What? And then just everything's just like, yeah, man, we have so much fun making this game. It's the greatest experience ever making this game and having the opportunity to make this game that so many people want. Anyway, we just didn't think there was anything to tell you guys about. So
Okay. I mean, I didn't realize that many people wanted it. That's more ignorance on my part, but
I mean, people really love Hollow Knight. I'm not people,
sure.
but we covered that last week. Yeah. Just crazy to see. And I guess shouts out to Hollow Knight for ruining a bunch of indie devs.
Yeah. Yep. Hope you're proud of yourself.
It just feels like it feels very on par almost. Not that I think like a lot of devs have been saying it, and not that I think it would like it releasing so close to the release date you were planning for. I feel like wouldn't muck things up too much outside of, again, just like all eyes are going to be away from you. But it almost reads like, if you remember when Black Myth Wukong came out, like a bunch of companies just in China just like gave off for the release date of that. And it kind of just feels like that almost, where it's just like, oh, we're going to push our game back because we're going to be too busy playing Hollow Knight Silksong.
Could be.
It could be.
Maybe they're going to get some ideas and then implement them in their game.
Yeah, and they're gonna go, we got to go back to the drawing board. Or
it's too fun.
Or Silksong like uses something that they were gonna put in their game, and they're just like, God damn it! They waited 7 years and finally bring it out, and they do the thing that we were planning.
It's funny.
But yeah, fun little update, little chase there for the terrible shot at the beginning. That does it for this week, unless you have anything else, Mike.
No, I don't.
All right. Well, as always, thank you all so much for listening. If you could do us a favor and leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to the podcast, that would be greatly appreciated. You can go over to our YouTube channel and leave us a comment there, letting us know your thoughts on the Xbox handheld prices. Are you willing to pay that for either of them, for one of them? Which one do you think is more worth it? Which one are you going to get? Let us know all that. Let us know if you are delaying your indie game because of Silksong. And if you could share the podcast with a friend, that would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, we will talk to you next week.